Welcome to a lesson on integers with Teacher Tracy. Before we get started, let's check our knowledge. We've learnt about inverse operations where an add and a subtract cancel each other out or reverse each other, and so do multiplying and dividing. So for example, 4 add 3 equals 7, and you can reverse that by saying 7 take away 3 is 4. Similarly, you could say 4 times 3 is 12, or 12 divided by 3 is 4. We're going to use that knowledge in today's lesson. We also know that when faced with a number sentence, we have an equal sign, which means that the either side of it is balanced and equal, and an operation sign, which has add, subtract, multiply, and divide, telling us what to do with each number. In maths, we like to look at groups of things or sets. So let's learn about all the sets in a number line. You've probably seen a number line like this before and are aware of 0. The natural numbers begin at 1 and go up. They're all positive numbers. When you add 0, we call those whole numbers. Did you know, though, that the number line goes in the other direction as well, and that 0 is in fact in the middle? The numbers to the right are positive integers, and they have a hidden positive next to them. The numbers to the left are called negative integers. 0 is neither positive nor negative. An integer is a whole number that can be a positive or a negative or a 0. They never have a fraction or a decimal part attached to them. But what is the difference between the positive and negative before the integers and the operations? Well, the positive and negative before a number show us where they are placed on a number line, whereas the operations tell us what to do with those numbers, so adding or subtracting. Remember that no sign next to the positive integers means that it is a positive. When calculating with integers, you need to know a few things. There are rules when the signs come together. When the signs are the same, a positive and a positive or a negative and a negative, the sign then becomes a positive. When the signs are different, like a positive and a negative or a negative and a positive next to each other, they become a negative. The second thing you need to know is that the signs help you. So where positive integers go to the right, adding also moves to the right. Negative integers to the left, and taking away goes to the left as well. The final thing you need to know is that there's an order in which to complete each step towards solving a number sentence. An easy way to remember that is BODMAS. Brackets first, then orders, then division, multiplication, addition, and finally subtraction. Now let's have a go trying to apply what we've learned to solve questions. Let's begin with adding and subtracting integers. The first step in our success criteria is to read the number sentence, minus 15 plus 8. The next step is to figure out whether the signs stay the same or change. Well, in this number sentence, we know that the 8 is a positive integer. So two positive signs next to each other means it becomes a positive. The next step is to use the first number to know where to begin on the number line. Use the operation to know which direction we're moving in. So a positive means we're moving to the right. And finally, we use the number, the second integer, to know how many to hop by. So I like to break it up into 2 hops to make it easier, but you could equally do that in 1 hop or in your mind. So minus 15 plus 8 is equal to minus 7. Now let's apply that same success criteria to subtracting. 12 minus minus 7. Let's look at the signs. They're next to each other and they're the same, so it becomes a positive. 12 plus 7. We begin with the 12 on the number line, and we need to add 7, so we're going to the right. 1 hop of 7 and it becomes 12 plus 7 is 19, or 12 minus 7 is 19. The plus sign is hidden in the 19 because it's a positive integer. Now you have a go. Pause here and calculate these questions. How did you do? When it comes to multiplying and dividing integers, the success criteria changes and becomes simpler. We still use the same rules about signs though. The difference is we now look at the signs right next to each integer. So for example, minus 6 times minus 9, the signs are the same, so the answer will be positive. 6 times 9 is 54. Division's the same. 56 divided by minus 8, the signs are different, so the answer is going to be a negative. 56 divided by 8 is 7. Now you have a go. Pause here and calculate these questions. How did you do? When it comes to calculating multiple operations, as in this number sentence, we begin with using BODMAS to remind us the order in which to do things. Brackets first, then orders, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. We then use our success criteria to help us calculate. So in this number sentence, minus 4 plus 3 times 2 minus 6, we're going to deal with the brackets first, which is the 2 minus 6. We know that before the minus 6 there's a plus and a minus, which means that we are going to have 2 minus 6 as the result. We then place our 2 on the number line and hop back to the left because we are subtracting 6. So the answer is minus 4 plus 3 times minus 4. And we rewrite that number sentence so that we don't miss any steps. We now go back to BODMAS and it tells us that there are no orders or divisions, so we go on to multiplication. Now in multiplication, remember that we use the sign before each number to calculate that it's going to have a negative, because a positive and a negative before the 3 and 4 mean that there's going to be a minus. And then we multiply across. 3 times 4 is 12. The next step is that we go back to BODMAS and there is no addition, so we do the subtraction. So we know that the minus 12 has a plus before the 12, so minus and a plus is a minus, and then we take the 4 and put it on the number line, go back. I've hopped in 2 hops on this session, but you can do one or what it in mentally if you want. So the answer is minus 16. Now you have a go. Pause here and calculate these questions. How did you do? Let's break away a moment and look at some other questions around integers. So the first one is, what is minus 12? Have a think about it and pause here and come back when you're ready. Did you maybe get that it was a negative integer or that it was a whole number? Either would have been correct. The next question is, arrange minus 5, 3, minus 12, 0, 8 from least to greatest. Pause here if you want to, otherwise listen along. So the important information here is that it's least to greatest, because people will automatically think that 0 is the least, and then, but in fact it's not, because if you think of it, how many sweets would you prefer? Minus 12 or 8 or 0? That will give you a clue. I either visualize it on a number line or circle them. So we've got minus 5, 3, 12, 0, and 8. Now we can easily write them down. Minus 12, minus 5, 0, 3, and 8. And the final question is, if A is an even integer and B is an odd integer, Is A times B even or odd? Pause here and have a think about it. Now this is a bit of a trick question because actually it's got more to do with your rules around multiplying and things like that, because we've got an even integer and an odd integer and A times B. Well, your multiplication rules say that an even times an even equals an even, and an odd times an odd equals an odd, and an odd times an even always equals an even. And why is that? It's because an even number is a multiple of 2, and it can be evenly divided by 2. When you multiply any number by an even number, the factor of 2 stays in the final answer. So because the final answer can be divided by 2, it's always an even number. Let's apply what we've been learning to some real-life questions. Here we have a thermometer, and the question is, the temperature is -4 degrees Celsius at midnight and drops by 7 degrees Celsius by morning. What is the new temperature? Now don't be fooled, you can use your number line like this, where it's going to positive up and negative down. Same principles apply. So the next thing is to write the number sentence by drawing out and highlighting the important information in the numbers in the question. So the important information is -4 degrees Celsius drops by which will be a minus, and 7 degrees Celsius. So the number sentence will be -4 minus plus 7. Then we know that the signs are the difference, so that will leave us with a negative. So we place the -4 onto the number line, and we go down by -7 because we're taking away 7. And don't forget to write your answer using your unit of measurement. So the answer will be -11 degrees Celsius. Let's do a money-related question. You have a bank balance of -30 pounds. You deposit 85 pounds and then withdraw pounds of 20. What is your final balance? Now don't be confused by the pound sign and pounds words in different places. Just highlight the necessary information and write your number sentence. So we have a number sentence of -30 to begin with, and then your deposit of 85 pounds, which is a plus 85 pounds, and then withdrawal of 20 pounds, which is -20. So the number sentence is -30 plus 85 minus 20. Now we're going to do something a little bit different by using a drawn number line rather than a given one. And BODMAS tells us to start with addition, so we're going to begin with the beginning. So we're going to place -30 on our number line, and we're going to break up the 85 into 2 hops to make it easy. We're going to break it into a 30 and then a 55. So it brings us to 55, which is 55 minus 20. We write that new number sentence. Now in this one, we know that there's a hidden addition or a plus next to the integer. So we know that different signs are going to leave us with a negative. So on the number line, we're going to place our 55, and we're going to go back 20 to 35. So the answer of the final balance is 35. Let's try a diving question. A diver is at -45 meters relative to sea level and swims up 18 meters. What is their new position? So the important information is highlighted to create the number sentence, which is -45 plus 18 meters. Then we'll place 45 on the number line and hop by 10 and 8. I've broken it up into chunks to make it easier, and the answer is -27. Well done, you've completed the lesson. Now strengthen your skills by practicing. If this video has been helpful in any way to you, please click like, share and subscribe. They're completely free and they really help me, or you could support me in any other way. Thank you for watching to the very end and all of your support.